Hello.
Alrighty, welcome everyone. Welcome Nat. Welcome Jackson. Welcome Ewan. How are we all today?
Yeah, great guys.
Good.
Good
Glad to
be
be here.
Good. Welcome everyone. My name is Matt. I'm the events officer for Adelaide and nationally here at the AIE. Welcome for today's live stream. I'm really excited to be joined by a couple of superstars, Euan and Jackson, and of course Natalie from Melbourne. So Nat, we've got you joining your events officer from Melbourne.
Yay.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. Super excited.
Yeah.
Nice. And Euan and Jackson, so welcome so much. Just before I get started and start asking some questions, I will just say to everyone, for those watching today, if you do have questions, feel free to pop them in the YouTube chat or website chat, and we'll do our best to get them answered as we go through. But without further ado, we've got about half an hour, 45 minutes, so let's jump straight into it. Euan and Jackson from Hell Byte Studios. So I won't do an introduction. I'll let you guys take it away. Who are you?
Yeah, I guess I'll start. My name's Euan Wynne-Jone. I'm 26. Jackson and I both graduated last year from AIE together. We were both in the design cohort, and we worked together throughout our time at AIE. And after we graduated, decided to form a studio based around a game that we made during major production.
I'm Jackson Hall. I'm 19. I now work as the creative director on Blood Reaver and co-owner of Hell Byte Studios with Euan.
Awesome. And what was the inspiration behind this game, guys? I mean, it looks amazing. But yeah, okay, so Jackson? It's all Jackson.
So, the main inspiration for the game, while we were studying at AIE, we noticed the sort of gap in the market of players with the new Call of Duty Zombies releases not being happy with them and sort of it straying from a bit of what they liked. So our idea was sort of going back to the original feeling, but throwing in a bit of our own spin on it and throwing in a few new elements to sort of make it our own, but still be appealing to those original players.
But in terms of like the core inspirations itself, as Jackson kind of just said, COD Zombies, obviously a massive inspiration in terms of the gameplay style itself.
Yeah.
But art style, we're really going for that sort of like painterly, dishonored sort of graphical style. But then very much like a Bloodborne, Warhammer Vermintide style of world itself, you could say, with a healthy sprinkle of Doom in the mix too.
So you guys saw the demand and now you're supplying.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's definitely something we learned while we were at AIE to sort of like find niches within the gaming ecosphere and try to fill them with the games you're making. So I think we've done that very well so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So the studio is Hell Byte Studios and your first release is Blood Reaver.
Yeah.
So in saying that, some of the audience who, for those that might have not have seen Blood Reaver at all, should I quickly show us a little trailer and we can have a look at the game and we can go from there. So I'll bring it up on the screen here. Bear with me 1 second. Where are we? Demo trailer. Here we go. Alrighty.
So cool.
Cool.
Even the music just draws you in. You're like, ooh, this is very enticing.
We really wanted to sort of like stick to our roots and sort of like follow that heavy metal sort of aesthetic. And it's sort of persisting throughout the game now. We recently sort of had 3 custom tracks produced over last year, but then remastered this year that are now out on all platforms on Spotify as well, which we just dropped this week.
Yeah, right.
Very
Nice, very nice. So, all right, let's go back to kind of the beginning of Hell Byte. You mentioned that it was a project that you started in your final year of study here at AIE. So tell us about like that experience in terms of obviously it being kind of like originally a school project, but then take it further. But at the school project side, like how did that experience play out and go?
I'll let you sort of start. I'll let you start.
Yeah. So the original idea for the game we knew was quite high scope and definitely higher than what other teams usually go for. But we wanted to sort of really push ourselves, and because of the team that we had, we couldn't have asked for a better team. We really wanted to push everybody and try and create a large project for the time that we had.
Yeah. So in saying that, we actually started a month or two early. We sort of started to sort of do pre-production, like a really, really basic version of the game back in July last year. And by that point, we were sort of showing people, talking to other members of the cohort about it. And we had the full team by August, just around the time that major production kind of started. And yeah, just from there, we knew what we wanted to do straight away. We had a really clear vision from Jackson and a goal of where we wanted to get with sort of one map in the pre-alpha demo. And every single member of the team worked so incredibly hard to make it happen.
That's amazing. So you all got along really well. There was no difficulties there, and you're just bouncing off ideas.
100%.
Oh, that's amazing. That's what
Absolutely.
you want in a group project for sure,
Yeah.
especially if you're starting your own studio. But what were the biggest challenges you guys faced, or like some
Biggest
of them?
challenges from last year.
Yeah.
This is specifically during production.
Like since graduating and deciding to open your own professional studio, what are some of the challenges?
Oh, in terms of challenges from what we've run into this year since graduating, I'd definitely say the biggest one, which AIE definitely offers a safety net for, is we went to remote working pretty much from the start of this year, because now we weren't in AIE anymore. We didn't have a classroom to work out of.
Right.
So for about 6 months this year, we worked all from home, all together, collaborating through Discord, meeting up for dinners every now and again when we could find the time. But that was definitely a massive struggle, I think, when starting a studio originally. But now we fixed that problem. We've recently moved into an office, as you can see, just on Perry Street in Adelaide at ACOLAB, which has been massive for us. But that was definitely a huge challenge to start with. And I guess really bringing that to a head, something that we realized when we got here was that some of the people on the team didn't know half the mechanics that were in the game, because things had been talked about over Discord. People weren't around for certain conversations. So we were playing Chinese whispers with each other a little bit. And yeah, it was definitely a big thing that we're very lucky to be able to do here now in office.
Right. Okay. So from that online development of the game, you found that there were definitely some growing pains where some people getting information, others weren't. And
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
it's
that's
definitely
not
different than
ideal.
being in the same room with people. Then and sometimes you forget things, or you didn't see a message, and the next day it's come up. So it would be a lot better. But at least you guys overcame that. So that's very, very well done. If you can get through
Just
that.
to add to that as well, I think working remotely is totally fine for a short period of time, but when you've got a massive project over a longer period of time, it can cause burnout with other people. People just don't like to be in their room by themselves, and they like to be around each other. And I think we've seen the proof in the pudding here over the past few months since we moved in here.
I was going to say, so how long have you been in there now? A few months?
We moved in just at the start of August.
So about 5-6 weeks now.
Okay. And you're finding the benefits are...
Yeah, the benefits have been huge. The amount of work we've been able to get done in that time is just incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And so once you graduated, talk to me about like your first step then, because you obviously had this game. You a lot of the time the students use that game that they've created as like a portfolio piece to get into industry. But I take it you two then weren't like, we just want to scrap this game and move straight into industry. You guys were like, hey, what about further development and such? So what was the first step kind of from AIE into, all right, this could be a thing?
I think just to start that point, I think one of the big things we did was really analyze if what we had was any good, sort of at the end of last year and the start of this year. Just from the people sort of we were talking to, by going to events and showcasing at things, we really quickly found out that there was definitely an audience for this sort of game. And all the research that we were doing as well really suggested that there was something there.
And what we wanted to change moving forward, because obviously there was lots of corners cut with the game last year and lots of things that we wanted to do that we weren't able to do in the time that we had. So it was just like figuring out what the vision is for the game that we want to eventually release.
So good. Getting that feedback, compiling all together, not just saying my idea is the best thing ever, we're going to release it as it is, but actually like improving on it. That's very important. Very good.
Just to lead on from all that as well, once we'd kind of established that there was something worth making here, Jackson and I went on a 2.5-month hibernation stint where we attempted, to varying levels of success, everything we could possibly know about business development, everything we need to sort of be able to do to actually open a studio, all the things associated with that, which also led us to applying for a few grants. Unfortunately, we didn't get them, but just a massive amount of learning in those first few months this year.
Right. Okay. So you self-taught the business side of things.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thankfully, though, we've got some good mentors in and around the local industry that have been really, really helpful to us from the legal side, the accounting side of things, and from just studio development as well. So don't do it alone is what I sort of say, is we've went on everybody we can to sort of get the information we need.
Yeah, okay. So a support network is required. I get,
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
And what has been your favorite moment over the last 24 months?
I'll let you start.
I'll definitely say one of the best moments was definitely Sage this year, because coming out of AIE, although we had like the end of year showcase and everything, we never really got too many people to be able to see the game. But just being able to take it to Sage, have a bunch of people there playing it, all of them really enjoying it, giving great feedback. It was just really great to see. It was that sort of moment of like, oh, people actually really like this, and we're doing something that people want.
So
I think for me, a bit of a wake up call that this was a proper career path and it was going places. We were featured on IGN a few months ago, and seeing a game that we'd personally worked on and I'd personally edited the trailer be on like an international platform, that was definitely a highlight moment for me, I think.
What an accomplishment. Well done. Did you go out celebrating after that?
I think we celebrate often. Every win we can. You could say that.
It's an everyday thing. Yes. Very good. Very
nice. All right. So that was the kind of the start of the journey that you spoke about then, and kind of this year then, which is obviously the foundational year in which you've set everything up. Take us through that journey. So after you've kind of realized, all right, we do have something here, there's possibly a gap in the market, what was the next step?
I think, like we sort of briefly went over before, the actual incorporation of the company was one thing, and all of the biz dev side of things that go into running a game studio was something that took a long time, a lot of back and forth between all the different parties and all the team as well, making sure everybody was comfortable with how we were going to be working for the foreseeable future, and what everybody was getting out of this was something we had to establish, and it took a good amount of time, but I think everybody's super happy now. From there, we went back into pre-production for the game. We actually completely took away the original version, and we started afresh, choosing to up our processes, make our pipelines a lot more in depth, raise the quality of all the assets.
Especially for implementing multiplayer now as well, since the old build was single player, needing to go into a multiplayer version, we had to start most things from the ground up on the programming side. Yeah,
programming, but I was going to wonder, like, in terms of obviously design, the game's still a lot similar, but art, did you use you reuse a lot of the art stuff, or no?
On the art stuff, there's been a lot of changes. I think for us, we've moved into a very different, more in-depth sort of production process for that. Just to give you an example, actually, Jackson, one of our artists, not this one, two Jacksons on the team, he's been working on a modular set of assets recently that has grown to 105 pieces. And that's never something that we could have imagined to be able to do last year. And it's taken, I think, about 2.5 months. And it's like a bespoke, ruined Citadel set, effectively, that allows us as designers to slap it all together as Lego pieces to create the sort of maps that we're working on now.
Wow.
And just between last year to this year, that's just something that we would have never dreamed of being able to do. But now we've got the luxury of being in an office together, and everybody is being incredibly professional to get that stuff done.
Yeah. You guys have come such a long way in such a short amount of time,
Yeah,
and obviously
it's
it's
a
a
testament
to your determination, your work ethic. Yeah, very, very cool, very inspiring.
We've definitely speed ran the game dev process, I think, at this point. We joke about it quite often. If there was a category for it on speed.com, we'd be up there.
You're living your life as the game. Very cool.
Pretty much.
And during I guess this year, that step of pre-production, and then obviously you've planned out your game, you've gone a lot more in depth than was initially in. Have there been any like curveballs? Were there things that I guess you didn't expect kind of happen in the game development side of things? Because obviously going from student, and everyone knows this, at university or AIE or wherever you study, university isn't it's not going to be exactly like it is in industry. There's always going to be some differences and such. So I guess like expectation versus reality. What's it like now actually being like, all right, well, we've got to get this game out?
I'll start with one point that I think is pretty poignant for longer form development as opposed to being a student is things just take longer because they should do, because they're at a higher quality. For example, like we've been working on a character recently, one of our lesser demons, part of the base horde, and to establish that from a concept art point of view all the way through the entire sort of creation process, that's probably been about 3.5 months, while previously I think we did a character concept in a day, and then the character was in the game fully textured within like 2 weeks last year. But now just the level of quality that we're sort of putting into these things, it takes exponentially longer to do, which means we've got to account for that on our sort of production side of things, our budget, and how much all of these things are just going to cost as we go forward. That's my example, at least. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'd say another big point is definitely similar to that, just getting used to everything taking longer and a longer form project, because at AIE, none of the projects could be too long because of the short time period that we had for it itself, like getting the team used to seeing things come through slowly, and it's not so hard and fast as it was as a student.
I think just another example from that, because I personally think this is incredibly interesting. But last year, within the game itself, there's an ability system that the player would use where you're sort of firing blood magic abilities off. And last year, like Jackson said, we were doing this hard and fast. We were just sort of getting things done as quick as possible. And every single one of those abilities was made individually, custom coded, hard coded in the game. Now this year, because we've got a longer amount of time to develop this, and we want to make sure that we're doing things the right way and not creating ourselves what's called tech debt long term in the future. We've spent, I think, about 4 months developing a custom visual scripting network for creating abilities, where the programmers will make all the back-end code for us, and then Jackson, as the designer, can just create hundreds of abilities for us within hours, effectively.
Yeah, just out of connecting nodes together in the scripting system that they've made.
And that's just an example of why, going back and doing things right the first time will mean that we'll be much more flexible and versatile in the future for what we can sort of create.
Right, well, you guys have given us a good breakdown. Why don't we see it in action?
Sorry, that was big tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a gameplay, a bit of gameplay footage here. Now, I do apologize; it's a bit low res, but we can still get the gist of I guess what the game looks like. So I'll just jump into it here for a second. Now, I hope it's up to date. Did you say? Oh, there we go. That's Big Nat. That's Big Nat. We will hopefully just use this one. It should take over. There we go. Alrighty. Now you did mention that you've got a wonderful programmer who's building you the systems. So I'll let this play in the background as I'm kind of chatting. So what software have you guys used to create this in terms of what a game engine, what piece of art software and programming languages and such?
Yeah, no, we're in Unity. We're in what version? I think 2022 now.
2021, I think.
2021. So we've been working in Unity while we were studying at AIE, and we were like, we could transition to Unreal. We could go to every other engine, but this is what we know. This is what we've put time into learning how to use. So we've chosen to stick with this for this particular game. In terms of the art side of things, we use Maya. Everybody's got licenses for that, and ZBrush as well. For sort of creating characters and all of our environmental assets.
Yeah.
And a healthy dose of Photoshop and everything, After Effects in between, Premiere Pro to make trailers.
Yeah. I'm loving this gameplay footage right now.
Right?
I'm going to stop screen share for a second to refresh the page.
Looks a little better than that, I would say.
That's the zombies right there. All right, let's try and do it. Let's try and load it again. But how many, I think you might have mentioned this earlier, I'm sorry, but if I've forgotten, but how many members were there in terms of breakdown between designers, artists, and programmers?
So last year while we were studying, we had 4 designers, 4 artists, 3 programmers. 2 programmers.
We had a team of 10 last year.
Yeah, and we've grown a little bit this year. I think we're at
12?
3 designers now full-time on the project. We're at 2 full-time programmers with 1 person aiding, and 5 artists currently, and with a couple social media content managers mixed in there as well.
Ooh, very nice. Ooh,
nice. Yeah. There we go. Now, Euan, is this the updated one? Can you tell her?
Yeah. This is fine footage. Again, I should preface, this is the pre-alpha demo version of the game. This is what we worked on last year. We haven't unveiled what we're working on now, and that will probably be something that happens sometime next year. Yeah. So this is what we made within 4 months last year while we were still studying.
Wow.
Okay, right. And timelines. Give me some timelines in terms of when are you guys looking at? Obviously, you've got kind of are you aiming for like an alpha, beta, or and then full release?
Yeah, so we're hoping for a demo somewhat like early next year to middle of next year, a demo version with multiplayer and everything, and then releasing the early access near the end of next year for people to buy on Steam.
Yeah. And just for those that watch this video later, next year being 2025.
Yes. And just to preface as well, the game is currently on Steam and is available to wishlist. Please do that. It helps us so much as developers. There'll be a demo that comes out probably next year for the new version of the game. The current version that you're seeing on screen right now is just available for free on itch. We just wanted to give it out to people to let them test the game and see what they thought.
Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. This is the kind of game you get home, you turn off all the lights just to scare yourself, and you put it on, and you feel like you're in the game because it's like the hands are in front of you, first person, like here we go. But I would be so scared, but still, it looks so cool.
Yeah, it's something that we really focused on last year. I think was like creating that gothic atmosphere, and it's definitely something in playtesting and from feedback from events that people are like, yeah, this feels like it knows what it's meant to be, I think was one of the quotes I remember from a few events ago.
Yeah.
And we can't hear the music, but what kind of like sounds and music can you expect when you're playing the game as well? Is it the same kind of thing? Yeah.
Turn it on a little bit.
Ooh. Yep, all the zombie growling.
Goes into like more scripted moments is when the big music comes through and you can hear the heavy metal tracks during the curated moments.
Yeah.
So just to add with the music as well, I don't know if Matt will get it, but while we were studying, we worked with a local Adelaide deathcore band, or at least their producer, to produce 3 custom songs for us, which, like Jackson said, appear during what are our rituals, our scripted moments.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that we put live recently.
How fun. What a fun fact. Love that.
I was going to say, is there a section in here that has that?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you just from looking at the footage. If I'm honest, it's been a long time since I've seen this.
There'll probably be one coming up soon.
Okay.
If you go like a minute or two ahead.
I was going to say, if we keep an eye on it, we can keep it just playing as we chat. Keep an eye on it, and if you reckon there's one that's coming on, I'll turn back on the sound.
Sure.
All right. So your development side of things, you've got in here, obviously, this is kind of the one level, and I'm seeing at least how many X amount of type of enemies, 4 or 5 type of enemies. Your release, how many are you looking at? Lots of levels and lots of different environments and such, or are you just doing kind of wave in a few smaller levels but making it a lot deeper in terms of gameplay?
So I think for content that comes out within the demo version of the game, which will be the start of next year, it'll be our first map, Final Stand, which will just be something where people can test, get an idea for what the game is going to be. And then when we launch early access, we'll drop a second map. For release, we'll look at 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly what we've decided at the minute. Possibly some extra content in there, which we're not going to announce just yet.
Keep it secret,
there might be more coming along that front with more options of how to play the game for sure.
Something to look forward to.
Can we get a exclusive hint at what that content could be without telling us?
I guess I'll give you one thing on that. So the game is a round-based shooter. There might be some stuff that breaks that mold a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
I
might
like
be
that.
looking at doing some extra stuff that doesn't just fit into the round-based shooter format.
All right, okay, extracurricular stuff.
Yes.
You heard it here first. Well done for everyone joining in, because no one else knows this. Very cool.
Is a question? This is it's definitely not going to be, but I'll ask anyway. Is there any chance that it's that program? Oh no, that's going to be way too difficult. I just had in my head. I was like, are you going to put in where you can create your own abilities in the game?
I'm going to say no.
Not necessarily creating your own, but there might be features in the future where you can affect them in different ways, but not quite along the lines of creating them yourself.
In
I guess
one sentence,
just on that point actually as well, Matt, I think it brings up a really good point about game design and quality assurance, especially, is that abilities in a game like this are really, really difficult to make A, fun, and B, balanced.
Yeah.
So those two elements of game design themselves come in very, very clutch, you could say, during development, and allowing people to just make whatever you want. We feel, at least in a game like this, might actually be super overpowered, you could say, especially
100%. 100%.
Just to add, this is one of the moments with the music in it that's playing right now.
Yep. So switch it on. I was going to say, turn it down a little bit. Sorry. There we go. My computer's really not liking this. It doesn't.
Doesn't like it today, Matt.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well, actually, to be honest, I'll tell a little story while this loads, which is my actual computer that I normally use broke about 10 minutes before this live stream. So I've jumped on one of my colleagues' computers for this live stream, and her computer has no memory, so not blaming her, but
so fun.
Yeah, in one sentence, I quickly showed how little I know about game dev by just saying that. So this is now boss 5?
This might be. I just have remembered, though, I do think maybe we turned off the music for this footage that you've got on.
Oh, okay.
Little pranksters. They got us.
I think just while we're still talking about music as well, actually, because we're going to PAX in a few weeks.
Yes.
Just like we talked about before. One thing that's been really requested is more of music more often. So we've been working just on this version of the game just a little bit in our spare time, and we'll be able to showcase some stuff pretty soon where players will be able to listen to the heavy metal music far more often, because right now in this version, as you're seeing right now, it's only really available in those special moments, but we've created some additional systems that let you play it whenever you want.
Yeah.
That would be.
And there's a bit of story behind it, a bit of Easter egg hunting, you could say.
Oh, we love Easter eggs. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll turn off the. Oh, there we go. Stop screen sharing. As we are almost out of time, sadly. But we do have a couple more questions. Now, I think you had another question.
Yes. So, do you have any advice for budding game developers that want to start their own studio and release their own game as well?
Want to start off?
Yeah, sure. I'll start. I think one thing that we really learned while we were studying is work really hard. Ask your teachers as many questions as you possibly can. This goes to people who are at AIE. Hone your skills early and as often as you can. And specialize absolutely is one thing you really want to do.
Yeah, definitely through opening a studio now and, like trying to find people that can do the jobs that we need, like people that are heavily specialized are so useful in the industry.
Yeah. I think just in the disciplines, I'll give you 3 examples. One in design being QA, very specialized, very necessary. Can't make a game without good QA. On the art side, a technical artist, somebody that can make shaders, that can rig characters. And on the programming side, a networked programmer. If you know how to make a game multiplayer, you are invaluable to a team.
I have heard networking programming is quite difficult as well.
Oh, yes.
From some of the programming students that have come through.
I'm like furiously taking notes, but for anyone that missed it, you can just go back and rewatch it after this live stream as well, because it'll be recorded on the website. But yeah, that was some good tips. Honing skills.
I've got one more actually, because I think this often gets overlooked, if that's all right, if we've got the time.
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Is network as soon as you start. Don't leave it till after you graduate to start showing people your work, going to events. Start going to things like playbacks and unwinds in Adelaide at Games Plus as often as you can. Talk to people, look for mentors, and share your work around, because nobody's going to find your work just on the internet, in this digital age. You've really got to put yourself out there, and as soon as you can do that and start building those soft skills, the better, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Those exactly what you were saying there, Euan, that going out and actually just testing, getting play testing at like events and such is so worthwhile. There's a team at the moment in our games business course that we took to PAX last year, ACOLAB, and they originally aimed for their game to kind of be the audience that you'd expect for like Grand Theft Auto or Crazy Taxi, and at PAX it just happened to be and at other events as well, that young kids, like really young kids, just loved playing the game, and they actually ended up doing our games business course and starting their own studio as well, and their whole entire target market changed because of that player feedback. And so they think that now they've got a commercially viable and potentially successful game based on the fact that they were able to go out and have a bit of a, like, I guess, interaction with audiences and the public. So invaluable.
So true.
Alrighty, and then last question for me, guys, before we finish up for today. Sorry, but which is, and you've kind of alluded to some of this already, but what is kind of the next steps for Hell Byte Studios? Obviously, we've got the release of the game coming up next year and such, but what are you guys working on, I guess, over the next couple months?
In terms of working on next, I think it's getting our first map ready for Showcase next year. It's getting all of our ducks in order for PAX, starting from the 10th, I believe, of October next month. And then straight after that on to South by Southwest. So in Melbourne for PAX, Sydney for South by Southwest. And that's what we're really gearing up to now.
Yeah.
Cool. So if people wanted to give this game a shot, they've got the demo available from Itch, which was last year's project. If they're in South Australia, they can hit you guys up directly. If they're in Melbourne, they can catch you at PAX. And if they're in Sydney, they can catch you at South by Southwest.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. All right.
I'm so PAX.
Yeah, it should be really, really good.
Yeah.
No, we're so excited for it.
Yeah, and where are you guys? You're going to be in the indie showcase area?
We're in the indie showcase area. Yeah, we were lucky enough to get some sponsorship by the South Australian government. So we're there alongside a bunch of other teams that have done the same.
Yeah, awesome. And South by Southwest, did the SA Gov help you out there as well, or is that who was the?
We were helped out by an additional firm. I cannot for the life of me remember the acronym for their name right now, though. But yeah, we've had some help to get to events, which has just been incredible for us this year.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. And were there any kind of last little marks that you guys wanted to say before we jump over to the website and have a look at?
I guess join our Discord, join the cult. I'm going to say it, and please wish list the game. If you like what you see, we love to talk to the community in our Discord. So join us along for the ride, really.
Cool. And socials? Are you guys on socials?
Yes, yeah. So we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. We've got videos up on YouTube. We're starting a devlog series pretty soon. And of course, we're on Steam as well. Have I missed any there?
TikTok on the way.
Oh, TikTok on the way.
TikTok on the way.
Is that if for people looking at you, looking for you, on those socials, is Hell Byte Studios or Blood Reaver or both?
Blood Reaver on most platforms. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm just going to quickly bring up our website. So thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you so much, audience members, for jumping on and having a watch. For those that are interested in learning a little bit more about game development, they want to create their own games professionally or work in a studio. AIE, of course, we are an educator, so we have a range of courses that students can learn, so game art, game design, game programming, and of course we are a film educator as well, so anyone interested in 3D animation and visual effects or filmmaking, if you want to be a director, producer, etc. Both Jackson and Euan did this course. This is the game design course. Whoops, not the beginner course. I think that was a little bit they're a little bit ahead of that one, but they did their career course in here as well. So it's a quick course. It's a 2-year course, the advanced diploma, or you got a 3-year bachelor course. Once you've finished, you've got really a huge amount of opportunities these days, whether it be start your own studio, go work at an indie studio, or you could work for some of the largest studios around Australia. So you can find all information on courses, software we use, breakdowns of course times, deliveries, what courses are available to you, subsidies around courses as well. I know there's a lot of funding from the government as the games industry and films industry are growth industries, and so the government's trying to help get more education around them. We do have information evening coming up this Thursday as well. So for anyone who wants to know more, check out the campuses. Feel free to register for information evenings. That's this Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. You'll be hearing from our trainers. They'll be breaking down essentially what you learn in each area as well. So course material and such. If you want to get in touch with campuses, just reach out to us here, or you can go ahead and apply now directly via our website. So that brings us to the end for today. Thank you so much again, Nat, and thank you so much, Hell Byte Studios. Nat, do you have any parting words?
Nope. I think you guys are really cool, and I'm keen to play the game. And I'm keen to see you guys at PAX as well. It's going to be so much fun. Yes.
We'll
Come
be
down
at
to PAX
booth
if you guys
51,
want to
I
get
believe.
insight. Yeah, if you're in Melbourne and you want to ask more questions, come in person and meet the Hell Byte Studios peeps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And parting words from you guys.
Yeah, like I said before, wishlist the game.
Wishlist the game.
Yeah.
Please. And it's been
Cool.
so great to be on here, guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's great to be able to chat with you guys again.
Yeah, thanks a
No
lot.
worries.
Thanks
Our
so
pleasure.
much,
Thank you so
guys.
much. Alrighty, guys. We'll catch you next time.
Yay.
See ya.
Bye.